Hey guys, welcome back to the Wild Charles Show. I'm Wild Charles, and I am hanging out with rock star legend
Chris Jericho.
Chris Jericho. What's your name again, man?
There's a bed in the back because we're in a hotel room, so that's why you see the bed there. This is actually my room, and Charles came and hung out with me for my show, and now we're here on yours.
Chris was awesome. I was just, get some hearts for Chris. Get some hearts for Chris.
Oh, that's hearts.
Chris is awesome. I was just on his podcast. It's going to be out there later. When do you think that'll be out there?
I'm not sure yet. We'll figure it out. Talk is Jericho is the name.
Talk is Jericho is the name of the podcast,
and featuring Charles will be on it. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, it was a ton of fun, man. Thanks for having me on that.
Absolutely.
So I told you guys earlier. I tweeted out actually, and I said, hey guys, tweet me your questions for Chris Jericho. And
you actually got some.
And I got responses, so I'm gonna put him on the spot. I'm
turning that light off.
Oh, turning off the light. I'm gonna put him on the spot.
Oh, is it better with the light on or off?
No, that's good.
Either way, okay. There we go.
I'm gonna put him on the spot first, so he can ask the. Somebody said, "Oh my God, Chris! Back when I watched, you were my favorite." Hey, Chris. I'll read the comments off for you.
Oh, okay, you're reading those?
Yeah, I'm just reading off the comments. That's actually people commenting right now.
Thank you.
So we'll take some questions also for people that are actually big fans. A lot of people giving questions here.
Yeah, I see
That's the other side of the hotel where Chris is not sitting. So somebody's losing it. Don't lose it, man.
Don't lose it.
Don't lose it.
Find it.
So I got a bunch of questions that some of you guys actually sent in. You tweeted out that you wanted to ask Chris. So I'm going to read some of those, and if you have some other questions, in a minute I'll open it up. Yeah, I'm dropping things on the floor. In a minute I'm going to open it up and so that you can actually comment and ask some other questions you might have for Chris. He's actually about to go on.
Read them? I can read them.
Oh, you're going to read them out? You're going to read them out?
at 69 Rad Dad 69 says, "Is The Rock as good as a cook as he leads on?" I don't know. I never actually had Rock make me anything that.
That's a great question. Isn't it? I saw that question. And it cracked me up.
But actually, he never says he's a good cook. He asks if you can smell what he's cooking.
So yeah, probably because it's burning.
Yeah, it could smell like bad, or maybe he's used too much oregano or something like that. So that's a good question. So another one, Sweet Love 015.
Sweet Love 0. Oh,
that's a good one. What was it about wrestling that made you so passionate on this journey in life to practice this sport? Well, when I was a kid, I loved music and I loved wrestling, and I was a big hockey fan as well. But the thing about hockey was it was a big team sport. I didn't like that aspect of it. I liked the fact that wrestling kind of had rock star personalities, where it was more of a single type of a team, and the characters and the charisma. And that's when I decided that I didn't want to be a nameless, faceless hockey player, and not to mention I was really bad at hockey. So I decided to go into wrestling and go into music, because it was a combination of what I loved the most. So that was a good one.
Cool. And you definitely, you definitely have the personality. You have.
Well, it's all personality.
That's.
You have to
huge.
connect. You know that from what you do. You have to connect with your audience to really make a great fan base. Okay, so
people are saying break the walls down.
I see
the
that.
wall.
Yes.
The wall must fall.
At Sarista says, when is Fozzy coming back to Parkersburg, West Virginia?
That was a good question, because when are they?
I don't know when they are, or me and them. I think we were just there recently. We were maybe just there in May. It was a great show. I think we sold.
Oh, you were just there in May.
Yeah, Parkersburg. We played a place there. And at Mendy's Brighter, which era of wrestling he likes the most? I guess the one that's on right now. I still wrestle from time to time. Yeah,
really.
I think people glorify the wrestling that they grew up with.
So whatever one that they started with.
Yeah, some people say the Attitude Era, or the Hogan era in the 80s. But for me, I enjoy all the eras, and I've had good times and bad in all of them. And the one that I just had last year, 2016, was probably my favorite.
See, I like a lot of the old school stuff, like Hogan. I just met Jake the Snake recently.
Oh, right on, yeah.
He was out doing a comedy tour.
Yeah.
I met Jake the Snake. Kind of crazy thing, this aside, man. Like, Jake the Snake Wrangler is actually a friend of mine. The guy, Albert Killen, used to work for the WWE.
Right, yeah. So, those snakes, those are the big boas. Those are for real. At Grace the Savage 4, do you like cheese? He doesn't. He doesn't like cheese. Mozzarella and cheddar are my favorite. Unless you're talking about 80s hair rock and roll, in which case I like Poison best. That's pretty cheesy too. At At C Malaytonin 777 says, here's a question. Where did you get the idea to do the Cruise of Jericho? Well, you're talking about the Rock and Wrestling Rager at C. October of 2018. We're going to have the best rock and roll bands and the best wrestling talent that we can have, including Ring of Honor, doing a Sea of Honor tournament at sea. We have a ring on the boat for the first time ever. There's actually going to be a tournament in the middle of the ocean. And then we got Fozzy playing, Phil Campbell and the Bastard Sons, King.
Let's set this up
Jim
here.
Ross is hosting it. Ricky Steamboat's going to be there, and Diamond Dallas Page, and Conan, and just tons of Mick Foley. So we got a really cool idea, and it's come out of the gate really strong. So next year, it's the cruise of a lifetime. Sail away with Chris Jericho, man.
Come sail away.
Come sail away. Come sail away with me.
Jericho.
With Jericho. I am Jericho.
A lot of people are saying that they want to be put on the list.
Oh, well, you can't request to be put on the list. That's the thing.
One of the questions on here was can Kevin Owen ever get off the list?
I don't know if it's possible. I mean, it depends. It's like you never say never, and you always forgive and forget. But you'd have to do a lot. You wash all three of my cars, for one. Polish my shoes, which really need polishing right now. Ask him how he
this dirt
felt.
here in Ohio.
At Trippin' Fool, ask him how he felt after being dissed on a TV dating show.
What is that about, man? I saw that. I don't even know. You got dissed on a
No, I didn't. The only TV dating show I
I
did was the Dating Game about 20 years ago, and I won. And the girl my date was a Russian literature major with big giant fake lips and big giant fake boobs. And then I got an email a couple months later saying, "Hey, that Russian literature major that you won a date with just jumped out of a cake at my brother's birthday party." So there you go.
See, what are you even talking about, that date thing? Somebody's asking about if I'm going to take a couple questions off here too. So somebody's asking, is Fozzy coming down to East Florida anytime soon?
East Florida would be, I guess, Daytona Beach, Miami, that sort of area, and Jacksonville. No, not the only show we have coming up is Fort Myers, which is on October 14th, and that's part of Fozzy Across America, where we're going to do 3 shows in 3 different cities in 3 different time zones in one day. So that should be a pretty big undertaking. It's Fort Myers, then we fly to El Paso, then we fly to Las Vegas. So that'll be the next.
So that's got to be a crazy, hectic schedule.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that no other band has
How
ever
does that
done
compare
before.
to like your WWE schedule? I mean, what would you say is tougher, being a rock star or being...
Pros and cons to both. The biggest thing is just the instant gratification from the fans and the electricity and the energy that you get from working in a live environment. They're both great, and that's why I love to do both, because they both give you this feeling of electricity that you can't replicate.
Someone say, oh, yeah, Y2K. I thought he was Y2J.
I am
Y2J. He said Y2K.
Oh, you're wrong.
Do you ever... I just missed your question.
Missed
It
the
went away.
question.
It went away
again.
too fast. Ask again. Ask a
again.
question. Like, okay, so I'm looking at the screen for questions. So ask
If
some
you have
questions.
some questions, because these ones are all done.
Because
So if you have any questions at all.
I'll give some questions too.
Even if you want to know some questions about life, whatever you want to talk
Is
about.
Fozzy ever coming to East Texas? So that's the cool thing. Like, you are, a lot of celebrities have like bands, right? But sometimes they're not really all that good. But your band is like good,
well, I mean,
and you get just as much recognition for the band, I think.
We had to work hard for it. Our song Judas right now is number 1 on silent radio, and when you get that type of a hit, it really changes things. And I think we used to have to work twice as hard to get people's respect because I was in the band.
Because of it?
Yeah, because they thought I was
older.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But once we kept hammering people with great material, great tunes, and great albums, and great live shows, after a while they couldn't deny it anymore. Now, like, the whole radio world is behind us and all the promotion.
I'm hearing your new single, Judas, is on a lot. Man.
Everywhere, yeah.
Everywhere. It's great. It's great.
It looks like it's going to crack the top 10, which is not easy to do, so it's going really well.
As somebody, will you go back to SD Live?
SmackDown?
Yeah, SmackDown.
I mean, I'm sure eventually I'll go back to WWE. Whether it's SmackDown Live, whether it's Raw, I'm not sure yet. But I still enjoy it. I had a great time doing it last year, and we'll see. It all depends what happens and how big the Fozzy tour is and all the other things that I have going on as well. So.
Somebody's asking who do you think they're like the top crossing? We got time here too, so if we're looking at the time, guys, he's about to go on stage after a bit.
That's
here.
right. Yeah.
So we don't want him to miss the show.
It's a sold out show.
It's a sold out show.
Yeah.
You don't want to keep the bands. Favorite wrestling match ever?
2008 versus Shawn Michaels, ladder match for the World Championship at No Mercy in Portland. And the reason why I love that was because it was the culmination of this great storyline that was supposed to only be for one night that ended up lasting for 8 months. So it was a great match in execution and in storyline. And to me, that's the most important thing about wrestling, is the story that you tell to get to the match. Great matches are great, but great stories are a lot fewer and far between to tell properly.
And that's why everybody watches it. Everybody watches it for the story.
They watch it for the story.
And for the crazy...
But sometimes the story gets lost.
Yeah.
And I like the layered story with a lot of different,
What's your favorite band? Hey, that's a music thing. Let's get that.
Favorite band? Beatles, Iron Maiden, Metallica, AC/DC, Kiss, Rolling Stones, Police. Those are probably my favorites.
The Police.
Off the top of my head. So
good stuff, man. I like all that stuff. I like all that. Any wrestlers coming?
Trump and Putin, the best.
Oh, don't read that one. Like those guys, when those guys come on there with these political posts and stuff, I don't even acknowledge them. I'm just like,
you got the wrong place, man.
Forget that. What are you talking about?
Do you accept the Islam Jericho? Is it Islam or Islam?
Why is there? Where are these people coming from?
Crazy
don't
now.
even read
All
these people. Don't read
through.
it because they'll start coming. They'll start doing it more. You got to stop. You got to stop.
They know. I'm from Canada, by the way, so
someone say you're a legend.
I know nothing about your crazy American politics.
Who was the most recent person you put on the list?
That guy who asked me if I like Putin.
That guy. Hey, that guy.
Islam Jericho.
That just put that comment. You're on the list,
and you don't even get it done in the special voice. You're just on the list for being a stupid idiot.
You're just on the list for being an idiot.
What
would you consider to be your best title run? I know,
world title, probably 2008 to 2010. I had some great ones, and the U.S. title thing with Kevin Owens was great. That we did towards the end of my last run there. I thought that was really well done, and just the whole story with Kevin Owens was a lot of fun. So,
okay. Somebody had, what is it like standing up to Brock Lesnar?
That's kind of the same as the Islam is Jericho question. Let's not even answer that.
What are you looking forward to most on the cruise? I guess that'll be the last question, right?
What am I looking forward to most on the cruise? Just the culmination of 2 years of hard work in getting the cruise to happen.
Sounds like a blast.
It's going to be a
big party.
Yeah, it's going to be a big party.
You got the wrestling,
live wrestling, legends, great rock and roll bands, comedians. Jim Brewer's going to be there. Brad Williams is going to be there. I got Beyond the Darkness podcast, where there's just all paranormal stuff.
Oh, there's going to be paranormal stuff on it too?
Stuff on there as well.
Yeah, dude.
Everything that I'm into is going to be represented on the cruise. So, ChrisJerichoCruise.com.
Well, can I ask you about the paranormal? Like, can I ask you, what are you into with the paranormal stuff, man?
Just the whole concept of it. I like all of it. I like
the ghosts. Is it aliens? Is it what's the most interesting?
Probably cryptozoology is the ones I like the most. Cryptids.
You get any Bigfoot, honey?
Bigfoot stuff.
I talked to a guy. I know a guy.
I know a guy.
In Texas. I know a guy. We can.
Yeah.
He's an expert.
Just the whole concept of, I believe there's a lot of stuff out there that we can't explain. And I think you're very arrogant to feel that differently, because it's a really big world that we live in, a big universe. 90% of the world is water, half of it is forestry. So I think there's a lot of stuff out there that we don't know about and can't explain. And what a boring world it would be if that wasn't the case.
I know, right?
Yeah,
right. That's what I'm.
That's it, man.
Hey,
Charles,
thanks.
Thank you, man.
Chris has to go rock on. He's got to go jam.
Warm up.
I'm looking forward to the show. It's going to be awesome.
Thank you, man. I'm glad you came down. Thanks for contacting me.
For doing this.
Absolutely.
And go out and follow his podcast, guys, because I'm going to be on his podcast. We had a lot of fun before this stream, guys. Right before this stream. So and
check it out.
Yeah. Awesome, guys.
Bingo.